check this out, how much better Maude looks. New Maude sticker. I think something just fell off this car. Dad's Mk3 Escort. This is very interesting. That doesn't look promising. Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and today I'm going to be heading over to my other garage to take care of a number of things, including a job on my dad's Mk3 Escort that I was going to outsource, but I keep forgetting to book the car in to Inky's Autos, so I'm going to have a go at doing it myself today. Before I go, check this out that my beautiful girlfriend Kat put together today out of pictures we took while we were on our Northern Ireland trip. That weekend in Northern Ireland for the Summit Run and Show was absolutely epic, so I wanted to make something up as a proper memento. And if any of you guys haven't seen the videos that I made while we were in Northern Ireland, I highly recommend you go and check them out. Now, with all that being said, I need to go and get Maude, my moredoor Mk2 Escort, out of the garage and make my way to my other garage. Just can't get over how much better Maude looks now that she's got the black bumpers. The guys at Microblast Services done an epic job. One of you in the comments recently did highlight that the exterior transformation isn't complete because her fuel cap is still chrome. The other day I managed to finally get round to fitting the new Maude sticker to her rear doors, and if any of you guys want to grab one of the new Maude stickers or any of the other stickers and decals that I've got, just check out my website at marcushayesuk.com. Anyway, let's get this show on the road. I think something just fell off this car. I heard something and I could see it in my rear view mirror bouncing off down the road. It was the radiator cap. So much traffic on the road today, but I finally made it to the garage. And the first thing I need to do is tidy up this mess, which should take about half a second. Boom, that's a little bit better. I haven't bothered packing up the engine hoist because I plan to do the ST170 swap in Maude next week. Nothing's changed really. Her engine has been ready since the last time you saw it on the channel. I have blocked the face where the manifolds go and fitted these brand new studs, but other than that, it's as you would have seen it last time. These boxes over here contain all the bits that I'm going to need for the swap, as well as some Zetec spares that I won't be using, that will just go in storage. I need to try and keep this garage clear enough for a car, obviously apart from the engine and stuff, because my next project should be coming within the next couple of weeks, and I need to store it in here. Anyway, what I think I'm going to do next is put Maude's banded steels back on, which are obviously wrapped in some fresh Nankang NS2R semi-slicks. And when I was on the way back from the tyre shop, I did notice that this side was rubbing, and I think it's the inside of the arch, but up where it's not dead flat, I can actually feel it. So while it's jacked up, I'm going to try and tap it a bit with a hammer. But ultimately, even if it still rubs, once the arch has finished rubbing off these 3D letters and numbers, then it shouldn't rub. Anyway, let's get these bandits back on the back of Maude. They only just about fit by jacking it up by the axle. Let's see if I can do this without getting the axle stands out. Let's see where it's been rubbing there, where the bare metal is. See if I can get that a bit more flat. Yeah, just looking underneath Maude, the driver's side definitely sits lower than the passenger side. You probably can't see on the camera, but the gap between the bump stop, which admittedly both bump stops have been cut down, but you know, semi-accurately, the gap between the driver's side bump stop is a lot smaller than the gap between the passenger side bump stop. I'm guessing the only thing that could cause that would be worn out springs. I did buy these springs brand new, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and had them decambered by 2 inches. But yeah, I'm not sure if worn shock absorbers would be able to cause one side being lower than the other. I think it must be the leaf springs. So do let me know in the comments if worn shock absorbers can cause one side to sag, or whether it's, as I suspect, more likely to be the leaf springs. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with Maude for a little while because I need to remove her dash top. I mentioned in a recent video that ages ago someone got in touch and said they'd be interested in flocking Maude's dash for me, and I couldn't remember who they were, but luckily they got back in touch with me the other day and they said they'll have a go at flocking this. It is damaged, and as I explained in that recent video, I did sort of try to fill the cracks and then I was going to smooth it off and just put a sticker there. But yeah, I'm hoping that they can remove this original covering, repair the cracks if they are in the dash itself. I can't remember whether they're in the dash or just this covering, and then yeah, flock it and we'll have a nice furry dash for Maude. Some of you have been asking recently, actually, am I ever going to deal with the interiors on my cars? Definitely something that I never end up getting round to, but I do have plans for the interior of Maude and Esther. And yeah, I think a flocked dash will be a nice first step to tidying up Maude's interior. And if I remember rightly, there's studs on the underneath of these dash tops. I'm going to lay underneath the dash and hopefully I'll be able to get all those nuts undone without breaking any of the studs. Guessing on this side I'll need to remove the clocks. Let's undo this one first. Feels like the last stud is here. Maybe I can remove these heater controls to get to that. Sweet. Alright, so I've just given the dash a wipe, wiped away over 40 years of dust. And I've got the clocks now mounted with the 2 bottom screws and these cable ties at the top. And I've got the heater controls screwed back in as well. And next week, I'll be sending this dash top off to hopefully get flocked. And for any of you guys that are planning to get any bits flocked, I might actually have a discount code for you from the company that's doing Maude's dash. So stay tuned to save yourself some dough. It's time to turn my attention to my dad's Mk3 Escort now, and more specifically, the rear wheel bearings. They hum quite a bit when you're on the motorway. Obviously, this car quite recently went through an MOT, so they're not dangerously worn or anything. But yeah, the humming noise is annoying and they're obviously on their way out. Over here, I've got the brand new rear wheel bearings, which were purchased from my friends at Burton Power. And as always, I'll leave a link to their website in the description. Now, as I say, I was going to book this car into Inky's Autos to get these bearings done, and although I've never done rear wheel bearings on a Mk3 Escort before, I did have a quick look in the Haynes manual last night and it doesn't sound like it's that difficult. So let's get the car jacked up, get the wheels off and see if we're able to do this job. Alright, so I can get this dust cover off. Split pin out and take this carcellated nut thing off. And these ain't super tight at all. Get this washer out. Now in theory the drum should just pull off, and while I'm doing that the bearing will want to fall out. I've already taken the handbrake off. This should come quite easily. There you go. The bearing's come out enough for me to grab it now. Anyway, just in case I've bought the wrong size bearings, we won't get any grit or anything in that. And this drum should just come off. Just like that. Now, this is very interesting. Now, these hubs have a bearing on the inside and then the bearing on the outside, which is that one that you saw me take out. Now, the bearing on the inside goes in and then it should be trapped in by the seal. But on my dad's car, the bearing is actually on the spindle, and you can see that behind it is the seal, which should be pressed into there. Well, I suppose at least I don't need to try and remove the seal from the hub. There is said bearing, and there is said seal. So the next job is to clean up this spindle and clean out this hub. And then comes the really fun bit of trying to get the outer races out of the hub and then trying to bang the new ones in. Alright, so I've given the spindle a wipe and I've wiped out the hub. I will be giving it a more thorough clean before I start putting things back together. But yeah, now you can really see the races. You know, this part here is the race for the bearing, which is pressed into there. And it's the same on the other side. So we need to bang those out. So I'm going to go through the back to bang out the front one and then turn it over and go through the front to bang the back one out. And there you can just see there's a little shoulder for you to get onto. So basically I'm just going to put a screwdriver on that shoulder and hit it with an hammer, going round and round, and hopefully it will bang out okay. Fingers crossed. Yep, she's moving. There you can see that it's starting to come out now. And there it is. Now I need to repeat the process to get the back one out. Sweet. That was quite easy. Now what I should have done, and what I highly recommend you do if you ever do a job like this, is check if the new bearings are the same size as the old bearings. Certainly appears the same size. Obviously this has got the outer race on the outside of it in the packet. Yeah, that looks alright. And this one I can actually still read the number on it. LM11749. And the new bearing says KLM11749. So yeah, that's the same as well. And just to be even more certain, the seal is the same size as the old one. Alright, so now I need to clean this hub out really thoroughly. I need to get all the dirt and these bits of grit off the floor out of there. I've got a little bit of brake cleaner, which should do the trick. Alright, so the hub is now thoroughly cleaned out and my beautiful girlfriend Kat has arrived with a Costa coffee. Now I need to bang the races into the hub. So I think I'm going to start with the front one, then I need to turn it over and press the back race in, then put the back bearing in, and then put the seal in, and then the front bearing can just be put in when I'm actually putting the hub back on the car. Obviously got to make sure I don't get any grit or anything on this new bearing. Gonna need to pack it with grease, but for now I just want the race. So we'll put the bearing back in the bag. So obviously the race goes in that way, and then the bearing slips in like that. I think I'm actually going to put a bit of grease on this race, which should help it slide in a bit better. It's obviously very important that you keep things clean at this stage. Not ideal doing it on the floor outside, but got to work with what we've got. And this has to go in dead even. Right, I'm going to use the old race to bang it in. I'm going to use this drift set, but you can just use a socket that's the correct size. Let's see. Yeah, because the race is tapered and the drift isn't, that's why I'm going to use the old race. Maybe I can use it upside down and then use the next one down. So I've turned the race the other way up and I'm using the next one down in the drift kit. And with that like that, I should be able to press the new race in. Big old persuader. Just have to stop every now and again and just make sure it's going in straight, which it is. And you can actually look in through the other side just to make sure that it's fully seated all the way. It's about to get really noisy around here because my neighbour's about to put his greyhounds on the walking machine, so I think I'll cue the music. This is the biggest drift in my set and it's too big, so I'll have to use a socket. No, I've got the back race in now, but I've got an issue where I've used the old race to get it in. I now need to get that out. If only it was in the other way, then there'd be a lip to bang it from the other side. But yeah, it's a bit of a disaster. Sweet, sorted. Yeah, the thing is, you can't damage the surface of this at all, which is why I had to get this out really carefully. Just give it another spray out with brake cleaner, just in case there's any debris or dust in there. So now I'm going to pack it all full of grease. Don't have to fully fill it up with grease, but just got to make sure there's plenty in there. I'm going to pack the new bearing with grease as well. Just get it all in there where the rollers are. We can drop that in there. Same thing, this seal's got to go in nice and straight. Sweet. Alright, back over to the car and we'll give the spindle a more thorough clean. And chuck a load of fresh grease on it. I think I'll just adjust the brakes, loosen them off a bit. There you go. Grease up the front bearing. And that goes in there. Should have probably used the grease that came with the bearings, but oh well. Anyway, now I just need to put everything back on that we took off earlier on. Got this big washer and the nut. Now, according to the Haynes manual, you need to tighten the hub nut up to between 20 and 25 Newton meters, which is between 15 and 18 foot-pounds, and then unscrew it half a turn and then tighten it finger tight. So basically you do it up tight enough so that there isn't excess play, but loose enough so it can still spin. That's 25 Newton meters. That's back off half a turn and then do the knot up finger tight. Put this castellated nut thing back on, and then the split pin that came with the bearings. And then the dust cap. So that's one side down and one to go, and the other side should be a lot quicker and easier for me to do because I'm not going to bother filming it. But I think before I do that other bearing, I'm going to take the cylinder head off of this other ST170 engine that I've got in my dad's garage, because that's going to be sent off to be ported, and then I'll be fitting that head to Esther, my Mk1 Escort, to hopefully get a bit closer to the 200 brake horsepower mark. That's roughly TDC. Just the tension. To look at the bottom end, and that doesn't look promising. Can't see any damage on the bores. I can just about still see the cross hatching. So yeah, all the pistons look alright. I'm guessing it had a head gasket leak issue on number 2. And as for the head, it all looks really nice. All the valves are there, which is always a bonus. And yeah, just little traces of coolant number 2. But yeah, that should be sweet to get ported for Esther. Alright, so now I need to clear up all this mess in my dad's garage and then crack on with the second rear wheel bearing, and I'll chat to you afterwards. Alright, so I managed to replace the other rear wheel bearing on my dad's Mk3 without too much trouble, and now I'm on my way home. So that concludes another day of me working on my old banger Fords. Tomorrow I think I'm going to visit my parents, so I won't be doing anything on the cars tomorrow. And then next week it's all go. Obviously need to send the cylinder head off and the dash top to the guys that are going to be helping me with those. Massive thanks to you guys, you know who you are. And when I get those bits back, I'll obviously tell the rest of you about the companies that have got involved with those jobs. Now next week I'm also planning to get around the garage a couple of times on my breaks or before work to make a start on the engine swap on Maude. There's quite a few jobs that I can do before it comes time to actually swap the engines. I need to mount and wire up the ME100 ECU, and then there's loads of boring bits in the engine bay that I need to disconnect. So I'll probably crack on with those next week, and then when the weekend comes I can turn the camera on and crack on with the more exciting bit, which is actually installing the ST170 engine into the bay. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. If you did think it was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. I'll also leave my email address down there for anyone who wants to contact me. Massive thanks to each and every one of you for your continued support of my channel. But other than that, until next time, thanks for watching.